Hi, I'm Jeffrey of Bob's Flosion Studios, and today we're going to be doing a random debate on Star Trek versus Star Wars. You can put in your own opinions later on in the comment bar on how you think this turns out and what you think is better, but this is what we say. Charles.
Star Trek.
Michael.
My name is Bob.
Bob.
Anyways, it's Star Wars.
And I am Star Trek all the way. So, what is our argument?
Well, I say Star Wars is more interesting. Star Trek, I mean, if they had the same like design and stuff, they had all the funding, they had all the video stuff today, and they went back and gave it all to Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek would be awesome. I mean, the graphics would be amazing, everybody would like it.
I have to agree with that, but also, Star Trek came out about roughly 10 years before Star Wars, and its graphics were almost as good as Star Wars's. What do you have to say about this?
I completely agree, but I say that Star Wars is just more entertaining. It's too giant.
What do you have to say though about Star Wars' logicality? I mean, their ship designs are illogical and would not work in all reality.
I say we don't really know that yet, for sure. I mean, I agree that some things are illogical, but and even about most things are illogical. There's like contained light inside a saber thing, whatever.
Well, that can't be made.
Contained laser. It could be made with plasma. It makes no sense. How would they keep the plasma in a cone?
Bringing up the subject of weapons, Star Trek, all their weapons, the phasers, operate on batteries that recharge when not in use. Star Wars, on the other hand, operates on gas chamber clip weapons, which will eventually run out of ammo.
Like modern military, which makes it more entertaining.
Yes, another thing, Star Wars is an oxymoron. They have advanced technology, yet they're living hundreds of years in the past.
They live in giant tree houses, and they have laser crossbows.
Yeah, that's another good point against Star Wars. Star Wars, almost everyone lives like a third world nation, but they have mega advanced technology.
How do you even have a laser crossbow? I'm sorry. I mean, these are like little frozen lasers that you put into on the string and shoot it. It's just designed to look like a crossbow. It's not. Why have the extra little everything? It looks cooler. No, it makes it look stupid. It's just for movie purposes.
Another thing, the Death Star. What powers the Death Star? How does it move? And, I mean, is it really probable that something like that could even be built with that super laser?
I guess we don't really know, because we don't know what powers it, and we don't know how it moves.
Charlie?
And also, when they fire the laser, I mean, all the beams come together at one point. It wouldn't do that. Lasers are light.
Yeah, it would all just, they'd go through each other.
Yeah, but I think it looks cooler, the way they have it with all the lasers coming together. Okay, maybe it looks cooler, but it makes no sense whatsoever.
Also,
why does it matter? The modern world today does not care about things making sense. They just care about being entertaining.
Yeah, another thing, Star Trek also, maneuverability makes more sense. Almost everything is pretty much in general a rail shooter, kind of. It's just to represent it from game to close that, get him out now, go, get him out. Great, yeah, just to compare it from compare the actual series to a game. But Star Trek is kind of like a rail shooter. Everything just kind of goes along a straight line, which in space actually seems to make sense as to what you would do. In Star Wars, you make highly improbable maneuvers with ships that don't have the engine capabilities to actually do it.
And also, in Star Wars, they always maintain an up-down orientation. I mean, you wouldn't have that when you're fighting around a planet. I mean, ships would be upside down. I mean, they could come in and there'd be a ship like this and a ship like this, and they'd be confused. Well, I mean, it's just the viewpoint of the camera. It's not really. No, all ships are facing the same direction.
They're all facing the same direction on the same level. That's highly improbable and illogical.
Space battles are three-dimensional, unlike land battles or sea battles. Well,
air battles is the best comparison.
Yes.
Everything's on a third dimension, except
but airplanes travel in straight lines, like they travel together.
Yes, but when it's with Star Wars, there's many crazy maneuvers that you do.
Yeah.
They just fly around all over the place. Airplanes, it's usually they travel along a straight line, shoot, and if it fails, they just turn around and come back for another straight run.
Actually, airplanes do some crazy maneuvers.
Yes, but they have the capability to do it. In Star Wars, this has been proven. The stunt fighters would have to be covered in engines to make the maneuvers they do in space.
They don't make any more advanced maneuvers than modern-day airplanes do, and they don't have engines all over the ships.
Yes, but there's a difference between flying in an atmosphere and flying in space. Charles?
I guess you have a good point.
That's one thing against Star Wars, then. Well, let's see, something else.
Not really.
Just exactly...
Whenever I first said that I like Star Wars better than Star Trek, it was based completely off of entertainment. And these two took it to a whole new level.
Well, as far as entertainment purposes go, Star Trek is very entertaining.
Long and boring. No.
Not really. It's submarine warfare, and submarine warfare it's extremely entertaining. Like it's like, kind of like mind play.
Okay, it's not long and boring. I'm just saying. Okay, Star Trek is very entertaining. It's just not as fast-paced and interesting as Star Wars.
Charles?
So we should put short green guys who talk with a funny accent.
Greedo. He's talking about Greedo.
What? No, he's talking about Yoda.
Oh. Greedo, Yoda, same
Greedo
thing.
is not short.
Well, actually, yes, he is. He's shorter than an average human.
Yeah, but he's not notably short.
Well, he talks in a strange accent. Yoda talks like an old person.
accent.
Yeah.
It's in a different language, not an accent. Or should we put guys with floppy ears who can jump like 40 feet?
Jar Jar Binks.
That does make it more interesting. I mean, I don't know. I say the unrealisticality of Star Wars makes it more interesting than Star Trek. Star Trek, you can bend your mind around it. Star Wars is just two giant opposing factions, which makes no sense. I mean, there would be some peace somewhere, but everybody's always fighting, and also, not necessarily, there are peaceful planets in Star Wars. Barely.
That, and if the, just to say, like, the CIS versus the Republic or the Empire versus the Rebellion, if the Empire or the CIS had the resources and the huge militaries that they claim to have, then they would have crushed the other faction extremely quickly.
Exactly.
It would have only been a few months, but it's prolonged over many years.
They only overstate their power to keep peace. Well, not really. But also, I guess to keep power throughout everything. Also, with Star Wars, everybody failed. I mean, they need to get like a shotgun class or a shooting class because everybody misses. I mean somebody can just stand there and nobody will hit him. I mean, you can just stand in front of like 10 enemies and they'll never hit him. Yeah, ever. They do fail at shooting. I mean,
that, and in Star Wars there is no point of armor. Like, it does absolutely nothing to protect the person, especially Stormtrooper armor.
I would say that the armor was made before the movie came. Well, Stormtrooper armor does absolutely nothing, but the clone armor actually does protect. I mean, against blasters. I mean, somewhat, but I would say that the Empire's armor was made before the updated blasters were made, so the blasters are stronger than the armor now.
Charlie?
Yeah, in Star Trek, I mean, armor on ships doesn't do much, but that's because they're talking ridiculously huge, ridiculously powerful weapons. But when they're on ground, when they have phaser armor, it actually does something. I mean, it's just like a Kevlar vest for lasers. You see?
Well, that's all the time we have for today, so see you on our next debate. Goodbye.